What's going on, nation? We are back with another video talking about the only 2 exercises you need to build big triceps. Now, if you missed the last 2 videos on chest and back, I will link to them in my pinned comment below. Also, guys, be sure to download my app, Muscular Strength, all my full programs, exercise demonstrations, and custom meal planner at your fingertips. It's awesome. Make sure you check it out for Android and iPhone. Now back to triceps. But real quick, guys, the triceps are a bit different to train than the biceps. With the biceps, any curling motion for the most part will train both bicep heads equally. We just make changes with our grip to target each head a little more individually. But triceps work a bit different. That's because the long head of the triceps crosses the shoulder joint, which means the degree of its activation depends on the position of your elbow and shoulder. Basically, the more you elevate your elbow, the more long head engagement an exercise will provide. So now, armed with this information, we need one exercise that will help us overload the triceps safely with maximum weight, and another one that will engage and specifically target the long head for growth. And those 2 exercises are the close grip bench press and the seated overhead extension, or as I like to call them, power bombs. But before we get started, the last video on the best 2 exercises for back hit almost 8,000 likes within the first week. So let's see if we can set a record and get this one to over 9,000. So smash that like button, and if we hit our goal, biceps will be next. If not, I'm filming the next video about quads, which we will still cover at some point, but biceps will be first. So like I said, guys, the first exercise on your journey to bigger triceps is going to be the close grip bench press. So let's quickly go over proper form. So obviously you're going to go into the bench press position. However, the major difference here from this compared to a bench press is that you're going to be grabbing the barbell with your hands as close as possible. You basically want to make sure that when you're grabbing the barbell, your elbows are in a position so that when you're holding the weight over your chest, they can come down as close to your torso as possible without having to be like this. You never want a close grip bench press with your hands close. Just because the exercise is called the close grip bench press, it doesn't mean your hands have to be as close as humanly possible. If you were benching in this position, you can just tell by looking at all the stress and tension you're placing in your wrists, which then compounds and hits your elbow, which then can obviously affect your shoulder. So you want to keep everything nice and straight. So from this position, guys, what you're going to do is keep your wrists straight. You're going to flex your glutes, arch your back. Again, same exact form that you would use for a bench press. And then bring the weight down over your torso, close to your belly button. A lot of people, when they perform a close grip bench press, they still bench it over their chest like this. That's not what the exercise is for. If you want to target your triceps as much as possible, you want to bench over your torso and make sure you're pressing back up over your torso. Think about it as if you were doing a dip. If you were doing a dip, you'd be in this position, coming down, and your hands would still line up with your torso. Now, the reason why we're not doing a dip is because not everybody watching my videos can do a dip, and also, for a lot of us, heavy weighted dips can cause some shoulder pain if you have some flexibility issues. When it comes to the close grip bench press, pretty much every single person watching the video can overload safely and progress with this movement. And if you guys want to see a video I did comparing close grip bench press to the dips, I did a versus series video. I'll link to that down in my pinned comment below. And the second exercise is the Powerbomb, one of my absolute favorite exercises for triceps. And remember, the close grip bench press was for our maximum overload. And with this exercise, we're still overloading as much as possible, but some of the benefits to this movement are, number one, because we're elevating our elbows as high as possible, we're placing a lot more tension on that long head of the triceps. And number two, this movement compared to other tricep exercises like rope extensions or a skull crusher, this exercise will allow us to get the deepest stretch possible before returning back to the starting position. And that's why we're going to do it. So proper form is very easy, guys. I like to throw the dumbbell up and on top of my shoulder before I sit. That way, once I'm in the seated position, I can just press the dumbbell up off my shoulder, and then I'm ready to go. Once here, keep your wrist straight. Lower the dumbbell as far as you possibly can. You should be going all the way down like this before returning back to the starting position and repeating for reps. Another thing too, guys, you should also be trying to keep your elbows in towards your head as much as possible. The last thing you want to have happen is that as you do this movement, your elbows flare out like this. Now, granted, depending on how big you are, there could be some elbow flare, but as long as you're twisting those elbows in as far as possible or as close to your head as you can, you'll be able to maximize the efficiency of the movement. Now, some other quick tips for here, guys. Number one, if you get elbow pain, try doing some warm-up sets with light weight first so you can go as heavy as possible on this exercise every single time you do it. All right, guys, so now that you know perfect form, for your next triceps workout, I suggest performing 8 sets of the close grip bench press, followed by 4 to 5 sets of power bombs. Always remember that you should be trying to progress with these 2 movements. Add weight when you can, and maybe even implement my cheat and recover technique if you can find a spotter. Also, and I cannot stress this enough, you need to stop wasting your time with fluff exercises like the triceps kickback. I don't care if you're using a dumbbell or a cable machine, an exercise like this is not meant for overloading for growth. Does it still have its place? Yeah, of course it does, guys. But more as a finisher or an accessory exercise to be used in a superset when training with high volume. And if anyone is telling you an exercise like a tricep kickback is best for muscle growth, they're either full of shit, full of steroids, or both. Remember that the purpose of these best exercises videos is to help anyone get their most out of their workouts, natty or not. So keep breaking the natty limit, nation, and I will keep making videos. And as always, more good stuff coming soon. See ya.